Good morning, everybody. My name is David Nabarro, and I work for the United Nations Secretary General, Ban Ki-moon. I am his special representative for food security and nutrition. And since 2010, I've been serving as the coordinator of the movement to scale up nutrition. The United Nations Secretary General is crystal clear when he asks the world's leaders to embrace his vision for a world without hunger and malnutrition. He calls it the Zero Hunger Challenge. And leaders are responding to the challenge. You are responding to the challenge. And on behalf of the United Nations Secretary General, I wish you all success. I would like to take you back a few years to 2008, when the extent and consequences of malnutrition were brought to the world's attention. Since then, many national leaders have expressed concern that, because of malnutrition during pregnancy and early childhood, too many of their people are disadvantaged and unable to achieve their full potential. They don't earn or learn as much as they could do if they were well nourished, and they're less likely to remain healthy as they grow up. So many of these leaders want all of their people to be able to enjoy good nutrition. National and international organizations have responded. In 2009, more than 100 of these organizations worked on a framework for scaling up nutrition. And at that time, I was asked by the United Nations Secretary General to support their efforts. During 2010, this framework was released and received warm support from many governments. To make the framework come to life, a roadmap for scaling up nutrition was developed. And by September 2010, the Movement for Scaling Up Nutrition, or the SUN movement as it's now called, was launched at the United Nations General Assembly in New York. Within the SUN movement, every organization contributes its unique experience and expertise to a shared vision that is based on the national policy and legal frameworks for nutrition. In Ghana, you have a strong nutrition policy. You are developing the legal frameworks necessary to make it come to life, including your adoption of the code for marketing of breast milk substitutes. You are updating your plans, budgeting and mobilizing the resources needed to implement them, in line with the objectives of the National Nutrition Policy. And this effort is coordinated by the National Development Planning Commission. The SUN movement offers a way for all countries scaling up nutrition to work together, and for all organizations that support government efforts to align what they do in a responsive way. It encourages these supporters, who I sometimes describe as the nutrition stakeholders, to work behind country efforts, backing them up in ways that will contribute to the achievement of national targets for better nutrition. As I speak, there are 41 countries within the SUN movement. They are home to more than half of the world's chronically malnourished or stunted children. And the leaders of these countries are setting ambitious targets that reflect the global goals for better nutrition agreed by 190 countries in the World Health Assembly of 2012. The leaders are setting up national platforms where all stakeholders can work together. And these national SUN platforms work best when they include the full range of stakeholders whose efforts influence whether or not people are malnourished. Increasingly, parliamentarians, civil society organizations, and business enterprises are joining the platforms. The platforms tend to work best when their members are coming together in support of national policies transparently and in a spirit of mutual accountability. They put the interests of women at the center of their strategies and actions. They work hard to identify and avoid the policy differences or even conflicts that can occur when different groups try to work in synergy. Within the Sun movement, countries are in the lead, and I'm delighted to say that Ghana was one of the first countries to join the movement. Each Sun country has appointed a senior government figure as the movement's focal point. The focal point and the National Sun platform work out an agreed set of expected results and encourage all stakeholders to align their actions around this common results framework. Here in Ghana, Edith Tete, the focal point, works with the cross-sectoral planning group to prioritise effective, nutrition-sensitive approaches within different sectors. She works tirelessly to ensure coherent and coordinated action, both at the national level and, of course, within communities. For the focal points and platforms to work well, it is important that different groups of stakeholders organise themselves so that they can contribute best to government efforts. How to do this in ways that reflect the challenges that households, especially women, face day by day as they try to ensure that they and their children are well nourished? Well, it does mean effective organisation, bringing all groups together on the platform. And that's why I'm so delighted today to take part in this launch of the CSO Alliance for Scaling Up Nutrition in Ghana. Parliamentarians play a critical role, bringing people's needs and concerns into the debating chambers of government and seeking explanations of what's happening on behalf of their constituents. I'm delighted to hear that in Ghana, parliamentarians committed to tackling hunger and malnutrition have organised themselves as a caucus for action. I look forward to hearing more of their achievements. Every country and supporter that joins the Sun movement is committed to making a difference. In the last 3 years, we've seen that everyone has a role to play. You're showing this here in Ghana. The donor agencies are working together, convened by US Agency for International Development, seeking ways to increase investments in your efforts to improve nutrition. And civil society is being coordinated through your Civil Society Alliance. There's also the involvement of business enterprises in the national platform. And the UN system is coordinating its efforts too, facilitated by the REACH partnership and by the UN resident coordinator. Now, these different groups of national stakeholders are supported through the global Sun networks. They include the network of country focal points, of civil society organisations, of donor agencies and of businesses. And so the Sun movement actually consists of 5 global networks, all committed to working together for better nutrition. Sometimes I'm asked, will the Sun movement succeed in reversing the tide of malnutrition? My answer is, of course it will, provided that we all live up to our commitments. The movement is about enabling all people to be better nourished, through implementing the actions that are known to work, through enabling all to access what they need for good nutrition, and through being accountable for everybody being able to realise their human rights, especially people who are at risk of malnutrition. This kind of mutual accountability applies here in Ghana and throughout the world. And as one of the Sun countries, you are contributing to a world where malnutrition is no longer acceptable, a world where all people experience nutritional justice. And so I'm so grateful to all of you, especially to Edith Tete and her colleagues, for sharing your experiences readily with other Sun countries, and also for seeing whether their experiences are relevant for your situation. I look forward to the day when malnutrition in Ghana is truly a subject for the history books. You all have a vital role now in helping to make this happen. That is why today is so significant. Your task is vital and must succeed. I truly hope that the discussions you have in this meeting are constructive and contribute urgently to a well-functioning effort for scaling up nutrition in Ghana and beyond. Thank you very much indeed.